Lived in Pierre for any stretch of time, it's a good bet you're familiar with the name Mansour Karam. The story of his life serves as an inspiration to many who call the capital city their home. Brian Allen tells us about him tonight.
On the second story of this condo development in Pierre, you will find a man with quite a story.
Sometimes I could only eat once a day. That's all my budget. But I didn't care. I was young. I was very excited being in the United States.
This is Mansour Karam. Now in his late 80s, the story of how he found himself in Pierre begins nearly 70 years ago in the Middle Eastern nation of Iran.
I had a few good friends in high school, and they're all pretty rich. I was the only one poor.
By his own admission, Mansour grew up in very poor, very harsh conditions from a family that eked out in existence. In Iran of the late 1940s and early 1950s, people from the lower classes of society had no chance of attending university. But Mansour had a friend who wanted Mansour to have more.
His father was banker, so he gave me enough money to take a trip from Spain to get to United States.
The plan was for Mansour to travel from Spain to the United States, specifically New Jersey, and from there go to Michigan. But another friend suggested a different path.
You can go South Dakota.
So he came to South Dakota in 1950 and attended South Dakota State University. And it was miserable.
So the first year was pretty bad.
Mansour had barely a working knowledge of the English language, attending classes all in English. He either had to figure out English quick or he would fail. And add on top of that, he had no real job. As was life in Iran, so was life here. Mansour decided he was no failure.
No, I was young, determination. I didn't care how much, if I'm hungry or not, did not affect me.
Mansour figured out English, earned an engineering degree, started earning money, was hired by the South Dakota Department of Transportation in Pierre. With the money he earned, he built housing units in Pierre where he became the landlord. And he earned a lot of money along the way.
Giving back to others is more valuable than what you get. And
Jess Karam is Mansour's daughter-in-law and is proud to talk about what he did with a majority of that money he made.
he isn't a person with money that spends a lot on himself. He hasn't done that at all.
To understand Mansour, you need to understand how grateful he is for the life he has had. He married the love of his life, Ruth, and raised a family with her, then learned how to survive without her when she died a few years ago. But his gratefulness isn't something he keeps on the inside. No, Mansour shows it by sharing what he has earned.
Just really cool to see that toward the end of his life he's able to be considerate of how he wants to give back.
This humble man from Iran, who grew up dirt poor, who wished of a better life but didn't know if he would have one, has donated $1.4 million to his alma mater, South Dakota State, grateful for the education they gave him.
Yeah, it's pretty outstanding. He's very grateful.
He has donated another $1 million to the Boys and Girls Club of Pierre because he wants to help kids know that if they dream it, they can do it, no matter what their background might be.
When I see those kids, big smile, I said there's no way any price on them smiles. I really love them.
In Pierre, Brian Allen.
I was blessed, and I really, God been good to me.
KSFY News.
Mansour recently moved into an assisted living arrangement in Pierre, but says it will not diminish his energy one bit. He plans on continuing doing whatever he can to give thanks to his adopted state and adopted hometown.